What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, and today we are coming at you with a very nice little transfer episode. It's going to be a live one, it's going to be a fun one, and there's going to be some, well, honestly, a few storylines that we're going to have to touch on today. Starting with, obviously, the thumbnail that you guys are probably pretty familiar with, which is Malen. It's Sancho. We also have some information on Brandt. Rafael Leao was linked to the club, a little update on Haaland. It should be a fun, nice stream to talk with you guys. We're going to try to be doing this pretty much throughout the course of the summertime. It should be a lot of fun. Put myself in a position where we're gonna have a little bit more time to invest in the channel. So we have the transfer updates that we'll probably try to bring to you guys throughout the day, and we're gonna be doing a lot of watch-alongs for the Euros. But that is what the schedule is going to look like today, guys. We're gonna touch on the rumors of Malen. We're gonna touch on the rumors of Sancho. Haaland, there's some rumors linked with Brandt potentially leaving the club, and of course, a new one coming up, Rafael Leao from AC Milan is one as well. So, let's get into it. Excited to have you guys here today, and Luke is our first question. He says, do you think Malen is good at BBB? I think that, you guys know I've been an advocate for our boy Malen for quite some time now. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I think that Malen will be successful. I know the biggest thing around Malen right now is his agent. No one is not surprised about that. A lot of people are under the assumption that if he stays, he'll only stay for a little bit and eventually get moved on. I don't know. I think that he could fit. I think that he's versatile. He can play in the wings. He can play in Marco Rosa's 4-1-2-1-2 system, which is honestly pretty handy. And as well as he's a striker. I mean, If Haaland's not there, Haaland's not available, we have someone who can actually go there instead of putting Hazard or Brandt. But it's looking like things are really coming into fruition with this transfer. And there's been rumors and reports saying that it doesn't matter whether Sancho stays or goes. Malen isn't a direct Sancho replacement because they're different types of players, but it does seem like he will potentially end up coming to Dortmund this summer. Yusuf says, I don't want Malen, not good enough to replace 60% of Sancho. I mean, when it comes to actual replacements, no one will be able to replace Sancho. Dortmund is not going to spend any type of money close to what they're going to get for Sancho to replace him. My realistic replacement for Sancho will cost 30 million. So you guys got to find a player that can fit that bill for about 30 million. That's what you're going to find. I think Malen is a good look. I know a lot of you guys are on the fence, and that's why we're here today to kind of talk about it. But I don't know, it is an interesting one. I do take your point, but we're never going to spend that type of money to replace Sancho. So Sancho's value is 90 million. We're not going to spend that. We're going to spend 30. So take a look at the options that we'll get for 30, because that's what we're going to have end up finding. Yusuf asks, who would you choose? I don't know, man. I have no clue. I don't know if Kone is still available, but he's better than Malen. I don't agree that Kone is better than Malen. They're different type of players. Kone had a very poor end to his season. I still think he's a young talent. I think that he could do well under Marco Rosa in the Bundesliga. But if I'm looking for rapid pace and a natural winger, I look at someone like Bailey or Diaby. Just that kind of speed that we lack sometimes on the wings. And I don't know. I know Malen isn't 100% that type of player, but he can definitely bring something to the squad, whether he plays on the wing, whether he plays up front. I appreciate that. I like the thumbnail as well. Kone isn't better than Malen in my opinion. Jasper, I agree with you, my guy. Hello, bro. What's going on, my friend? How are you doing today? Subs is not having it. Hashtag say no to Malen. Subs, what's your number one reason? Is it the agent? Is that the issue? Because for me, I've been calling for Malen for a long time. We were told by a trusted source that there's a gentleman's agreement with Malen's camp for a long time now. But the rumors kind of went quiet there for a little bit. So it was kind of surprising seeing the likes of these rumors kind of resurface, and now it seems like a deal's relatively close. But okay, let's go. Wait, are you interested in this deal? You think Malen will be a good fit? I don't know. I am, man. I like the fact that he's versatile. I like the fact that he's going to be able to play on the wings. I know he's not a natural winger, but he can play on the wings. He can play up front. He's a good young talent. I do have some question marks about his agent, but it's not the first time we've had to deal with him. By Sancho, let's face it, he's leaving this summer. I think he's leaving this summer as well. Like I said, I've told you guys for a while now, between Sancho and Haaland, I don't think both of them will leave at the same time. I think that Haaland's more likely to stay. Everyone talks about that alleged release clause. We don't know exactly what it is. No one knows exactly what it is. And I think that there was a gentleman's agreement, again, with Sancho to let him go if he wants to. And Dortmund show that they play hardball. If there's anyone who's kind of proved that they've done that, it is Dortmund, which means that if United want Sancho, they're going to pay full price for him. Subs put in the cluster of say no to Malen. Absolutely not having it. Malen to replace Sancho, buy back Alex Isak to replace Haaland next summer. I don't think Isak would be interested in coming back to Dortmund, and I think that we could probably find a better striker, in my opinion, to replace Haaland. And honestly, I'd rather start Malen than Isak up front next summer. I mean, I'm not sure what the end game plan is with Malen, but I'm assuming you'll be able to use him on the wings this year. You'll be able to use him up front if Marco Rose goes with that formation, and maybe he's looked at to the future if and when Haaland does end up leaving. Sub says that he's calm. Subs is a PSV fan. That's why he doesn't want us to buy him. I don't know. I don't think Subs is a PSV fan. I think he was a Birmingham fan, and now Dortmund fan. He's a Jude Bellingham fan, Subs. I'm pretty sure that's what you are. Mukuku is a backup, and Tigges is enough, in my opinion. I mean, I agree and I don't agree. If we're going to challenge for the title, I think something that's been a huge issue for us is being able to put someone up front when Haaland wasn't there. Haaland can't play all 34 games. More than likely, he'll pick up a card, he'll pick up an injury, he'll have to be rested. And usually when we put someone in that position, it bites us in the butt. Now, Mukuku is obviously someone who's got a lot of question marks to seeing what kind of jump he will take next year. I still think Malen gives us that little extra. I'd be more comfortable, honestly, with Malen starting up front than I would be with Mukuku or Tigges at their current state. They're both good young players, but they don't quite do it for me. He's a Ronaldo guy. That's why I don't want him. Tigges, yeah. I mean, I want to say Tigges is garbage. Come on, Tubbs. But for me, I mean, Malen, like, there's issues with this club. There's issues when it came to being able to put another striker on the field. It's been an issue with Dortmund for a long time. It's something that's always bugged me. Malen would fix that. He would fix that 100%, man. Mukuku, he showed that he can score in the Bundesliga, but even he's had this injury. He's kind of put a little bit of halt on where he was hopefully going to go. So I'm not 100% sure where he's going to fit into this squad next year. I think he's going to obviously get some minutes. Still very, very young. Oh, you guys are getting a lot of... Jasper says Tigges is the GOAT. Apparently, Man City has a massive offer for Haaland, according to City Extra. I would take anything that's City Extra with a grain of salt. I've talked to a few sources as well, and from what I hear, more than likely, Haaland is going to stay. Like, it's like 90% Haaland is going to stay. The only thing that could turn the head is if they put up a massive deal for him. But, I mean... Again, I don't know what the release clause is because everyone's trying to make an assumption around Haaland with the release clause saying, well, it's 75 million next year. That is not confirmed. That has never been confirmed. So maybe if it's something not like that, they could, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But if it is a 75, I think if you get a 170 million bid, that could push Dortmund. I do agree with that. But because I don't know and no one knows what the alleged release clause is, it makes it kind of hard to judge what Dortmund are going to do. But I did hear a monster deal could potentially turn some heads, but the plan is, from what I can tell, is that Haaland will be here and be leading the line next year. Malen is more of a center forward. He is, but he can play off the wings. For PSV, for the Netherlands, he can play as a winger. He does play in a 4-4-2 system. He likes to drift around. He can definitely play in a few different positions for us. I'm not worried about him kind of fitting in. I'm just curious to see what it means for the likes of Haaland, Sancho, and how he would fit. Looked at Malen yesterday in the Netherlands versus Ukraine game. Physically looks strong. Obviously, we have to see more of him, but I believe Dortmund scouting in young players. I do as well, and I mean when it comes to Dortmund scouting, I mean it's hard to judge. I mean the odd time here and there, but there's been an agreement again with Malen for a long time now. This is not breaking news. He was linked pretty heavily. I was told again that there was a gentleman's agreement between both parties. And then the rumors just kind of vanished, and out of nowhere they blistered back up, and it seems like it's relatively intense. Buy Alex Isak back to replace Haaland. I mean, for me, guys, he wouldn't be my target, and I don't think he's all that keen to coming back. He's a good young player, but again, with the money that we would get in general for Haaland, I feel like we could replace him a little bit better. But let me know what you guys think about that. We don't want to play for 2 years and selling him. We want to play for the future. I don't know, and that's the thing. I mean, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. It's why every time we get linked to an English player, I say do not stay as far away as possible. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham, do not want them at this club. They will not be here more than 2 years. There's no reason to think that Malen couldn't be here for 3, 4, 5 years. There's not. I mean, if he blows up next year, as a lot of young players do in Dortmund, and he puts up 20-something goals and gets linked away, there's a chance. But I feel like this is a good step for Malen. It seems like his camp is interested in this move. I don't know. He's not a player I'm worried about leaving in a couple years. I'm not going to say he's going to stay here forever, but I think that we could get a good few years out of Malen before any of those questions are coming up. Where in the likes of Tammy Abraham or a Callum Hudson-Odoi, I don't think they're good enough for the first part, and they'll cost an arm and a leg, and then they'll immediately go back to the Prem. I'm worried that we will have problems with creativity. Royce, Guerrero, and Dahoud will have more work. If we're taking it with Sancho, it's a valid point. But like I said, with the amount of money we're going to get for Sancho, we are not going to replace him with that type of money. So yes, Malen is a very different type of player to Sancho is. If you want to look for a creative option, you could obviously target one. But when it comes to Malen, the creativity has never been a huge issue with this club. But it'll be interesting seeing a whole season without Sancho if that's the case. Because it is a good point, my man. I take a Kone because he's more natural fit. If we sign Malen, we don't have any options to use on the width when we need to. It's a fair point. Malen has played on the wings before. He's played in the Dutch system. He's played out on a winger for the Netherlands. He's more comfortable as that kind of floating around number 9. He plays in a 4-4-2 system. If Marco Rose goes with a 4-1-2-1-2, it could be a nice natural fit. But I agree. If you're going to go for a natural winger, a real natural winger, Liam Bailey and Diaby, who I'm just seeing someone else has mentioned, they are the natural instinct. They are the natural option. But I think for a season, Malen could do it. And then, like I said, Malen could always switch to the middle and play as a striker when Haaland inevitably moves on. Can we get Diaby or Liam Bailey? Like I said, I've been saying this for a while, guys. I think that we're going to sign 3 players this window. I think that we're going to sign our keeper, which we did. I think we're going to sign a center back, which St. Juste has been linked, kind of died down a little bit. And then I think we're going to buy a versatile winger. And that's, Malen, I guess you guys can argue, like you said, he's not a natural winger. But I'm assuming that's where they're going to use him. Do you think we can manage to keep Sancho? Maybe. This has been so up and down for so long. For the majority of the year, I said more than likely Sancho's going to leave. Haaland's going to stay. It's been straightforward. After the incident with the worldwide tour with Haaland's father and his agent, I was kind of thinking otherwise, but I still don't think there's been any real indication that Haaland's looking to leave. I think if anything, the main question is whether Sancho does. But like I said, if United aren't willing to pay the exact price tag that Dortmund set, this deal will not go through, and they may keep Sancho for another year. If that happens, they may look to sell Haaland this year. I don't know. I think there is a chance, but if I'm being completely and openly honestly with you guys, I'd say it's like a 70 to 90% chance that Haaland stays and Sancho goes. But this world and game we love, it goes crazy. It doesn't take much to turn the balance, but that's the way I'm looking at it so far. I have a feeling that Malen is a replacement for Haaland. Still would be another type of winger, and that would be my guess too. I do still believe that he'll come in, he'll play as a winger for Sancho basically. Then he will end up maybe taking on that striker role at some point. But I'm a Dortmund fan first and foremost. I was born a couple miles from Westfalen. Okay. Good. I assumed. Do you think that they will extend Witzel's contract? I do not. We want to play for the future, not just for 2 years and sell him. Again, I think Malen would fit that bill. I don't think Malen's someone who's going to come in here and I think he's going to be a good, solid player for us. And honestly, I think he's someone that we could have around for a few years. I'm not under the impression that he'll come in and then immediately leave. So if we're going to play a 4-1-2-1-2, seems like we would need better fullbacks, though. Again, I've been very, very stern. I really don't see us being able to sign another fullback. But I don't know. It's a good point. I honestly think that Meunier is going to start as our right back, and then Guerrero is going to start as our left back. Whatever formation it is, I don't know. But in my opinion, I don't think that we're going to play the 4-1-2-1-2. I think we'll start off in the 4-2-3-1. If we do have Malen and Sancho leaves, Malen will be playing on the left-hand side of the on the wing, and then if we ever do to move to that 4-1-2-1-2, you'll have Haaland and Malen up front. We need Sancho and Haaland to stay. We don't care if we make 200 mil profits. Not giving Bayern 10 years is much more important now. It's true, but it's not going to happen. I would be shocked if we kept both players for next season. Especially, there was a gentleman's agreement made with Sancho to let him go if the right bid comes in. Sancho knows it. Dortmund knows it. They're just waiting to see if they can get that deal over the line. And if not, then they may keep him and shift off Haaland. But I can almost promise you one of them is going to leave. Tigges is not really ready for the big time. Maybe he can be paused for Haaland now and then he won't be, in my opinion, Tigges will never be a full replacement for Haaland. I don't know. I like Tigges. I think he's a good, talented kid, but I just think that if Haaland leaves, we'll replace Haaland with someone who's a little bit more further advanced than Tigges. Because Tigges isn't even relatively young. I mean, he's 22. He's going to keep getting older, and I just can't see him getting into this team, man. And Alex, I guess, kind of agrees with me. Tigges is 22. He's been in our youth team forever. He's not good enough and will most likely never be. Yep, I agree with you. How much will Malen cost? Well, I have a couple articles up for you guys. I'll read some of them quickly for you to kind of give you an insight on that. So Borussia Dortmund have 30 million euros for Malen is what it said. It said that Sancho is looking to be sold, and Dortmund have basically identified PSV's striker Daniel Malen as a replacement. The Bundesliga side is willing to pay 30 million for the Netherlands international who featured in the 3-2 victory over Ukraine. Malen has a contract with PSV until 2024, but should a good offer come forward, they are expecting him to depart. The money would boost PSV's transfer funds in the summer. Malen has 116 appearances for PSV since joining from Arsenal in 2017. He has netted 55 times for the club, 27 of those coming last season. So that was one article. So it looks like I said, 30. Like I said it earlier in the stream, and I do still believe it. You guys say, well, why don't we go out and replace properly Sancho? We can't. We're not. That's not the way that Dortmund does business. We make 90 million. We will probably only spend 30. This happens to be what Haaland's is. I don't see us going too much further than that. But that's the way I was looking for. Malen's also 22 years old. He's got a good versatility, which is something I really like about him. But we'll have to wait and see. Do you have any news regarding St. Jude's transfer? I don't. Those were coming fast and furious, and then they just kind of died out for a little bit. I haven't heard too much about him, but we'll keep an eye. We're gonna be doing this probably every morning. It's morning here in Canada. I got my coffee mug. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did. Does Malen have more potential than Depay? I don't know. I've been a big fan for Malen. If you guys have been following the channel for the better part of this season, you guys would probably know that I've talked about Malen off and on for pretty much all season. I've really had a feeling that he was going to come. He seems like a natural look. I think he's a good, talented player playing in a good league. We're ready to take that jump, and I feel like Dortmund would be a perfect opportunity for him. I don't think he's got probably more potential than Depay. I think Depay he's an interesting case, man. He's somebody who should be playing a lot higher level than he is. He's looking to maybe make that move to Barcelona. Whether he starts, whether he doesn't, is a different question. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Malen has good potential, and I think if you want to see him basically have an opportunity to show it, Dortmund's a really good opportunity to do so. Yusuf says, how's your day going, Josh? It's going good. We're doing our transfers episode right now, and we'll be doing the watch-along for the Spain game. We got watch-alongs coming every day this week. 2 on Tuesday. Should be fun. Kobel got called up to the Swiss national team. He's probably not going to play a game in the Euros, but could be a good experience for him. I did see that. I thought it was a very weird reason why he didn't get called up, because he's too competitive, I guess. I don't know. It was very weird. But yes, he is called up right now. But drop a like on the series, guys. If you guys like this, I'm planning on doing this every day. Each morning before one of the Euro watch-alongs, we'll be coming out here and breaking down other news. We do need to get into the Brandt news, so I will maybe just bring that up for you guys. You can put some comments in the chat, but there's a report and rumors that Lazio has opened talks with Borussia Dortmund midfielder Brandt's entourage. It says that Lazio have their eye on Borussia Dortmund midfielder Julian Brandt. They have opened talks with him. It says that Sarri is a big fan of the 25-year-old German, has identified him as a possible option. So, interesting news for that. There's not really too much on it. It's just the fact that we know that there's not a potential that Brandt may look up to move on. I think Lazio is a bit of a surprise, but Maurizio Sarri does like playing in his 4-2-3-1. Maybe he's trying to identify type of center attacking mid. But I'll let you guys get some of your opinions in on that transfer, and if you think it's the right or wrong decision to let Brandt move on. In my opinion, I think it's the right decision to let him move on, get your money for him. He's really never looked too good when he's come on the pitch this season. No, and I'm sorry for anyone who supports Brandt out there, but we don't utilize him to his full potential. We always play him out on the wings. He's a number 10. That's where he has to play. He can arguably sometimes play as an 8, but when you put him out on the wings, it's like playing with 10 guys half the time. So I think with Royce's form, with Gio as the potential successor to Marco Reus, you got to move him on, and it looks like Lazio is looking to take that opportunity. If Sancho is sold, more money to Dortmund could get 95 plus 20 on add-ons. That is what I've been reading as well. There's been a few different numbers that are going around, but it does look like it'd be a 90 million bid with some add-ons, something along those lines, which United is off. The last offer was 70, so I think they upped it a little bit. I think they're about 15 mil away from getting this deal done. Wish we could have signed Depay. A fun fact, again, talking to an insider of mine, the graphics were at one point made for Depay to come to Dortmund. That's how legit and how close. And I didn't realize that. I never realized that the Depay deal was that close. I always kind of had it as a behind-the-scenes kind of deal. I didn't think it was really going to be something that was close. But the fact that they said they had the graphics already, that this deal was supposed to go down and it didn't, was kind of bottling, because it would have been really cool to have Depay in the squad. I saw Sancho was not included in the England versus Croatia squad. Was it solely for the Manchester United transfer? There's two theories. One theory is that there's something behind the scenes with Man United. The other series is the Premier League tax, guys. It's probably something you guys are very familiar with. When it comes to players playing for the England squad, I mean, if you're not in the Premier League, you get overlooked. The fact that Sterling and Foden, and I think Foden is a good player, but the fact that they were starting over Sancho is a joke. The fact that Saka was on the bench before Sancho is also a joke. And maybe that's the reason why Sancho's looking to get back in the Prem, put him right in front of the eyes of Southgate. I don't 100% know. Those are the two theories I heard. Either way, I think it's just absolutely ridiculous that he didn't start that game. But what can you do? Why do you think they won't extend Witzel's contract? Age, injury, wages. I think they're going to let him go on a free transfer. If not, maybe look to sell him. But I'm assuming they'll just let his contract run out. When are we going to be an elite club? We sell our best players. Okay, I wouldn't say we sell our best players, guys. It's the way that we do business. I mean, I think we are an elite club. We are competing in the Bundesliga. We just won the Pokal last year. We made it to the quarterfinals. Will we ever be that club that spends the kind of money that City, Chelsea, Barcelona, United does? No, we're not. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. If you're looking for that kind of club, Dortmund is not the case. They're going to recruit. They're going to develop young talent. They're going to hopefully put an 11 on the pitch that can blossom in a season and get a surprise, I guess, title. The one when they won it in those back-to-back titles going into the season, they were not favorites. They just had a young group of players that were able to gel together. Good coaching, got it done. But we aren't going to spend that kind of money. You can look at our record transfer. It's not going to happen. But I think that we've shown good strides of competing. Like I said, we've held on to Sancho for a little longer than someone might think. We held on to Haaland. We've had good opportunities to bring in players like Schultz, Brandt, Hazard, Hummels that season. Arguably, two of them didn't pan out, but I don't know. We're on the right cusp, but unfortunately, one of these transfers, and I'm looking at Sancho, looks pretty inevitable to me. Meunier looks good, but I don't think he fits in the right back position where there's 4 defenders. He looks good at 3-back, which is funny because he's played as a wing-back for Dortmund, and that's when he's looked his worst, in my opinion. So I'm hoping that it was just the first season jitters. Maybe he gets some confidence from the Euros, but we're going to have to need him because like I said, I don't think we're going to go out there and spend money on a right back. I would love to see Meunier turn his form around, but he needs to bring that type of performance to Dortmund each and every week because he was very, very poor this year. Is there anybody else who missed Brent Larson? I didn't mind him. I think it was his time to move on. I don't think he's ever going to get those minutes. I hate that we sell every good player. Like we are not a football team, just a business. Well, it is the way that we do business, man. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But I mean, we recruit well. It wouldn't surprise me still if Sancho goes, Malen comes in, maybe a couple other pieces, and we still compete for the title. It's a way that this club works, man. Malen is a renowned player, big no. Yeah. But I don't know. I still think that whether he's his agent or not, I think that he's going to be a good player for this club, and I'd be excited to get him here. But I know that there's, rightfully so, some question marks coming in. Double double or triple triple? Black, my friend. I can't drink milk, so I drink my coffee black. Good morning, Angie. How you doing, my friend? Oh, that's an excellent point. It will not happen, but could you imagine if we got Botman? I'm a huge fan of him, but oh man. Do you think that with Sancho leaving, getting Malen and Baku would be our next step? Maybe moving Baku to the winger or Meunier is more formal role. I mean, again, guys, I personally don't think we're going to sign Baku. I would love to sign Baku. I don't think that we will. If I'm looking at the positions, I think that Dortmund's going to sign this summer. It's a winger / striker, something in the mix, which is Malen. It's going to be a center back and it's going to be a keeper. We signed our keeper. I'm expecting a center back coming in. I would love Baku. I think he'd be important because he can play up the pitch. He can play in a 4-2-3-1 as a right outside midfield. He can play as a fullback, a wing back. He would be perfect, but I don't think they were going to sign him. Rosa should focus on our defense. An aging Meunier, Mats Hummels is good for experience, but we need some younger replacements. I agree. I think that Meunier he should still have a good few years in him, even though he didn't have a solid season for us. Mats Hummels as well. We need to get another center back just for, honestly, just rotation purposes. Hummels is getting older. You need to give just that type of option. But I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. I mean, St. Just I thought was going to be a real Dortmund type of signing, a real budget / talented little young center back signing. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, but I personally only see one defender coming in. Why is it that Dortmund never signed a famous player? Well, I mean, we signed Haaland, who at the time was one of the hottest properties of football, and turned him into a pretty famous player. So you can make that argument. I'm a Bayern fan. I hate transfers Bayern are making. Dortmund should buy Botman. Yeah, I mean, they could and they should, but they won't. Sven Botman in that list right there is the number one player that I'm looking at who would just, I think he's going to be a class defender. I was very impressed with what he did at Lille. He, like I said, because of Jonathan David, he's a player I watched a ton this season. He would be, if I could pick one center back right now for us that fits Dortmund's profile, relatively realistic, it would be Botman. 100% it would. That's a good shout, but I don't think it's going to happen, man. I think he's more likely to go to like a Liverpool or something like that. I wish Brandt would stay and see what happens. I don't know. I see Marco Rosa playing in that 4-2-3-1 or 4-1-2-1-2. I don't see Brandt starting over Royce. I don't see Brandt even really starting over Gio. I think it's his time to potentially move on, man. It's not a bad list. I mean, I like you guys are tossing Botman in there because, man, he is a good footballer. But I don't know. And he kind of fits the profile. I mean, he would be relatively expensive. He's young. He would be able to probably come in and do some real damage in this back four. But again, when it comes to him, I feel like some other of the big dogs around the world will be targeting him. I don't mind Andre Silva, but if we're going after Malen, we will not be signing Silva. And a lot of you guys are thinking that Brandt should stay for at least one more season. If I was Brandt, I honestly I wouldn't want to. I don't see him getting his way into this squad, and I don't know. I think that more than likely he's already kind of stunted his development as a player already, and it's probably time for him to go get some minutes. Sell Brandt, he's good, but can't break into the cam or CM. No reason to play him in a position where you can buy Malen and Okone. Fair point, Yusuf, and I absolutely agree. No, the third goalkeeper of the national team, Ullman, got an ankle injury warming up for Switzerland-Wales game. He's done for the Euros. That's why they called him up. Yes, no, I heard that, but I heard, or I don't know if you guys heard that too. I heard a report that said that Kobel was originally not called up because of he would disrupt the, I don't even know how to describe it. He would disrupt the number one keeper position because he'd be targeting. It was something ridiculous like that. But yes, he got called up because of an injury, but I was told that's why he didn't originally get called up. Royce is getting older, and with all the injuries, he won't play more than 2 years, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, taking some breaks off the Euros, I think is going to give him a good opportunity. He has had a tough time with injuries. He is getting older. And that's probably why he rejected the Euros. He wants to play as long as he can for Dortmund. I think probably, 2-3 years is what it is, but he'll be whittling down. But again, you can't have three players who want to start in the same position. If Royce isn't there, you need to start developing Gio. And Brandt, just unfortunately for me, isn't the guy. We need to keep Brandt. Royce is getting older. Reina won't become basically our only cam if we sell Brandt. Well, we definitely have depth in the center attacking mid position with the three of them. Royce will be around for at least 3 years. Whether I don't know how many minutes he'll be playing in that third year, but he will be around. You got to integrate Reyna in between that. We don't need 3 center attacking mids. In my opinion, we should sell Brandt. He looks like the odd man out, and then and reinvest that money. Will Rosa play with the 2 strikers? He could. He's very well known for his 4-1-2-1-2 formation, but I mean, I still think the 4-2-3-1 will be his preferred. But Malen gives him that option. I think that's the real reason. Maybe if Marco Rosa had any input, he may be interested in Malen, knowing how versatile he is. He can play on the wing. He can play in a 2-striker formation, and that gives him some real options. Yo, Josh, we need to consider Schick for next summer. I mean, he scored a beautiful goal today, guys. So huge shout out to him. But I don't think Schick is our option, man. But I mean, the goal he scored was incredible. So I agree. I'm gonna pop that one on the screen for you guys who probably agree with it. Yeah, I agree. I only imagine him starting in the lineup for England. I'm probably way bound. You guys are killing it with the comments today. Marco Rosa is a good coach. He is, man. He is. I've come to terms with Jaden leaving. It sucks a bit. Oscar, it does suck, but again, I agree with you. I've come to terms with it as well. I would like to see us make the right decision, the right investment, and I'm a little torn. Like I said, I've been going for Malen all season long, and I think that there's some big benefits to him, what he'll bring to Marco Rosa's side, his versatility, but there's also some things, the fact that he's just not a winger. He's not a natural winger. He's not a Diaby. He's not a Bailey. He's not an Akone, but maybe he could develop there and he can give you that option. It'll be interesting. Dortmund has proved that they can develop young talent. Sancho, Jude, Haaland, it's amazing. They can, and I think that a 22-year-old Malen coming in, hungry to take that jump to the next level, I think that he'll be a very important signing for us. And I don't know. From what I'm reading, it seems like the deal is relatively close. And it also was to specify this. It said that whether Sancho left or not, this deal with Malen looks like it may be coming in. Sad that Sancho won't win the Bundesliga. He was supposed to in Fabre's first season, and then we blew a 9-point lead. Yeah, that was pretty painful, my friend. That was pretty painful. It does suck, but he got his pokal. I mean, it's hanging right there. It's not a replica. It's a piece of paper, but it looks so good on camera. Last big sell from Dortmund was a bench warmer like 2-3 years ago. There you go. I know a lot of people again are still under the assumption that we're a huge selling club. We knew when Sancho and Haaland came here that they weren't going to stay here long term. Sancho's been at this club for a while, since he was 17 years old. He's done some wonderful, wonderful things. I don't think he owes his club anything. There's been that gentleman's agreement. If Sancho wants to go, he's going to go, and it's as straightforward as that. Wish Meunier could play for Dortmund the way he plays for his country. There's always cases where players have very poor first seasons. And I think that's why we're not going to sign a right back. I think especially if Meunier's got a solid performance at the Euros, he'll be coming in, he'll be our starting right back, and then Murray will eventually come back from injury. You still have Pasak if you absolutely need it. I don't see us putting money into the right back position. Like I said, again, center back, keeper, winger/striker. Malen and Kobel seem to be taking up 2 of it. I'm very curious to see who that other center back may be. I see a lot of you guys talking about Botman. 30 million not expensive for Botman. It's not. However, I don't think we'll be able to get that deal done because I'm assuming he might look to move somewhere towards the Prem. I don't know, man. Royce needs a Bundesliga. Yes, he does. But again, guys, I'm so excited for this Bundesliga this year. 7 out of the 8 top teams have a different manager. That is such a drastic switch, and I'm very curious to see how Nagelsmann does. If Nagelsmann can't hit the ground running, he's famous for switching up formations. Hansi Flick played a very natural 4-2-3-1, and if Nagelsmann can't really get the team to buy into what he's doing, and there's some pushback, I don't know, I'm all ready for it. You could argue the same thing for Marco Rosa, but odds are some of the managers will be some successful, some won't be, and I'm very curious to see the way the Bundesliga unfolds next season. And I do think that there's a good shot, especially if Haaland stays. So we get some other key pieces, even without Sancho. I still think there's an opportunity for us to compete. Makes sense. Like I said, Witsel is also fun seeing him play for Belgium. It is. I got a little soft spot for the Belgians. We got 3 of them. Damn, Josh, you demon for drinking black coffee. I can't have milk, guys. I had to adjust. We won't challenge for the league next season, but I think that we could win the Pokal again. I think I think that you'd be surprised. I think Marco Rose and Terzic together will give this side an opportunity to compete for the title. The other main reason is that I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced on Nagelsmann. I feel like seeing the way that he butchered the remainder of his Leipzig tenure, I think there's an opportunity that he messes up a little bit at Bayern and at least makes it close. I'm not saying that we're odds-on favorite, but I'm saying this team can compete with Bayern next year, given the fact that we're hoping that Nagelsmann slips up a little bit, but there's also the opportunity that he flies with it. That's what's going to make next season so interesting. I watched Dumfries last night. It would be brilliant for our team. Yes, a lot of the recruiting and scouting I like to do just on a personal level comes from the Dutch league. That's why I've always really liked Malen. Dumfries is a massive, massive talent. I'm surprised he's still in the Netherlands. I think he could easily jump to a top 5 league around the world. Again, he would be someone I would like to see Dortmund target. Will we? No, unfortunately we won't. It's unfortunate that Yarmolenko did not fit Dortmund. He scored a great goal yesterday. Yeah, Yarmolenko pretty much his career fell off a cliff once he came to Dortmund, and I mean he did nothing for West Ham this year. He does got some talent, but in my opinion, he's head back to Ukraine and finish out his career there because unfortunately for him, it didn't just quite work. Clubs who are not owned by billionaires survive by making these types of negotiations. People should realize that. Yeah, if you're going to be a fan of this club, you have to come under the realization that we'll never be the club to go out there and spend the 90 million. But we will develop a lot of fun talent. We will give the fans some fun throughout the year, some excitement. It's the reason I love supporting this team. I mean, I regularly almost have a heart attack every week. Who doesn't love that? Like, it's a fun thing with this club. I like seeing the talent coming in and out of the door. Some of the times it stings, yes, but we'll always have an opportunity. And if Malen comes this season, I'm going to be absolutely fired up to watch him play next year. With Malen, it would be nice to have a Dutch player in the squad. There hasn't been many in the last decade. We could have 2 if St. Just comes as well. We bought Koulibaly as a defender. We did. I'm assuming he'll play most of it this season with the U23s. I don't see him making too much of a jump up to the first team quite yet, but we will have to see. Do you think Canada will make some changes in the starting 11 against Haiti? I do. I think that Osorio may miss out, and that'd probably be my only change in that. But he had an all right game in the first one, but I think that they may have to shake things up and maybe go for a different formation. Lucien Favre is getting a new job in Turkey. Fernando, elaborate, please. I have no idea who it would be for in Turkey. But I want you to let me know. Do you know the Dortmund 2022 ratings? I do not. We did a video on it, though, a prediction, if you want to check that out. Schick just transferred. He's not leaving next year. No, he's not. And I don't think he would ever come to Dortmund. I don't think Dortmund would look at him. He did score a beautiful goal, though. Is Malen going to be the Thuram guy for Rosa? Fernando, that is an excellent, excellent comparison. And yeah, absolutely. Marcus Thuram can play on the wing. He can play as a striker. He suited that 4-2-3-1/4-1-2-1-2 system. I love it. That's a perfect comparison. Now, the only question is, though, is that Thuram has played a lot more on the wing than Malen has. So I'm very curious to see the way that Malen adapts to that role, if he's able to do it successfully. I know that he can play in a 2-man striker formation well for Marco Rosa. We'll see what he does there. The big question mark for Malen is how he'll be able to slide in on that left back or that left wing position. But that is a really good comparison. And if you ask Marco Rosa, it's probably why he was a little bit interested in Malen in the first place. Josh, what is the % you would give for Sancho to stay this summer? Okay, good question, Steve. If I'm being brutally honest, I'll do Sancho and Haaland. I think there's a 90% chance Haaland stays, and a 90% chance that Sancho leaves. I think there's that 10% for both, for something crazy to happen. But unfortunately, I'm very confident that Sancho's leaving. I'm very confident that Haaland's staying. But football changes on the dime, man, so we'll have to see. I got a feeling Sancho's going to stay one more year. I like the feeling. I can't see it, man. Who is better? Malen is better by far. By far. He's more developed. Different type of players, obviously, but I think for Dortmund out of the two, I would take Malen in a heartbeat. Would you rather Botman or Lacroix? I would rather Botman, man. I think that he's got a huge ceiling. I think that if you're going to look at it getting a deal done, why not try to get a deal done with Lille, who plays in a completely different league, than Lacroix, who is arguably from someone who's going to try to be competing for top 4. I don't know. I've been a big fan of Botman. Like I said, I did watch him a lot this year as well. I think that he would be just a perfect fit for this club. But I just, unfortunately, read no rumors around it. And more than likely, out of those options, we'll end up with someone similar to St. Just. I have a feeling that without Sancho, we will even lack more free kicks, corners. We need a specialist. I don't know. Because you make a good point, Fernando. Our corners, our free kicks. I mean, our free kicks would be replaced, and probably corners too, by Marco Reus. And Marco Reus is a free kick specialist as well. Sancho has, in my opinion, taken more this season, but it would probably go to that. Guerrero can take corners as well and free kicks. I'm not overly concerned about that, but Dortmund will win the Bundesliga next year. I like it, my man. I like it. Do you think you'll be more confident Meunier staying at Dortmund if he keeps performing throughout the Euros like he did against Russia? I was confident beforehand. I said that there's no chance we sign a right back. I've said it for some time. It's just the way that it is. And yeah, I mean, if Meunier does shine at the Euros, that just gives Dortmund every ammunition they need to make sure that Meunier is going to be the starting man next year. But I mean, just with money issues and a bunch of different things, for me, there's no way that Meunier was going to end up leaving, and we were going to replace him. And if he keeps us up at the Euros, Dortmund's laughing, and they're like, perfect, we have a real reason. Is Terzic not leaving? As of right now, nope. He is staying. He's going to take a second seat to Marco Rosa. Very curious. I thought he was going to move on. I really did, and he didn't. So hopefully they'll be able to work together well next year. And I mean, you got two good managers behind the bench. Can't really complain. It's very likely that a big team will start their next season very slow because of the new managers and have to settle in, especially Nagelsmann. I agree too. I think there really is that opportunity that Bayern has a slow start. I'm praying for it because it'll make the Bundesliga a lot more interesting. I personally think beside Malen, we should sign a new winger who is fast, strong versus 1v1s. I do too, man. I mean, ideally, I would sign a right back, center back, winger, a Malen type of player. But in reality, like I said, I think the budget and the way that this summer is going to go, there's going to be 3 signings. Now they got to decide whether they go out an all-out winger like a Diaby, like a Bailey, someone else, a Kone. They go for Malen. It's going to be one or the other, in my opinion. And then same as in the back line, in my opinion, again, unless a lot of positions go outward, I think there's only going to be one signing for the defenders, and it's going to be a center back, in my opinion. If we sell Haaland, we can always trigger a buyback clause. What's your opinion on that? I'm assuming when you say buyback clause, you're thinking of Isaac. And again, he's not a striker for me, man. I would rather if we sell Haaland, we start Malen up front as striker. For me, that's exactly what you want to do. I'd be completely fine with that. And I think might even be a long-term plan with Malen. Play him on his season for a wing, and once Haaland leaves, he'll get bumped up. What are the new links? The other link I had for you guys today is that AC Milan is looking to sell Rafael Leao, and if any offers come in this summer that they'll be really interested in it, they got some suitors from it, and one of the suitors is Dortmund. So there's a few of them. It says Dortmund, Wolverhampton, Marseille, and Everton all have their sights on Rafael Leao, the young Portuguese player. I don't know what you guys think about that. He's someone who arguably, again, is similar to Malen. I mean, I think Malen's more of a striker but can play in the wing, and I think Leao's more of a winger but can play as a striker. Because I've seen him play as a striker for AC Milan. I've seen him play the striker for the U21 Portuguese squad, but I've also seen him play on the wings a lot. So let me know what you guys think about Rafael Leao. That's a very new transfer rumor that we've heard, but again, I don't think that's going to be anything spectacular. Do you think that Hitz deserves to play at least the Cup as a starter? He's a good keeper. More than likely, he will start. I mean, if the way that it goes is Kobe will play all of our Champions League, all of our Bundesliga games, and Hitz will probably start the Pokal. Don't you think besides Malen we should go for other wingers? Yes, I do, but we won't. Unfortunately, we will not. we will not. We don't have the money, and I don't think the club's willing to do it. Maybe if they sell Brandt, they can go for someone like a Leao. It needs to be the right kind of deal, but it's not going to be a developed piece that will probably even break into the starting 11? It's a very interesting question, but I mean, again, when it comes to Dortmund this year, the money is going to be very tight. Because like if they sell Sancho, they have a lot of money, but they're going to be tight with it. They're gonna not spend a crazy amount of it. Outsider to win the Euros. Do you think Netherlands, Italy? If I'm going between those two as an outsiders, I would say Italy. I think the Netherlands will crash out relatively early. I think their manager is very, very poor. I've seen him a lot in the MLS with Atlanta United. Not a good manager in my opinion, man. So that's yeah. What do you think of him? He's the next up superstar, and think that we should sign him if Haaland leaves for another 30 years. Cheap striker who could score at least 15 goals. I don't know. Again, he's not a name that's ever come to my mind. It's a name that could make sense, I guess, but I don't know. I think Malen is no matter what gonna be the guy. I think no matter which way you look at it, Haaland is gonna leave eventually, and Malen will more than likely take on that starting striker role. I don't mind if BVB wins the Bundesliga as long as. I don't mind if BVB wins the Bundesliga as long as we win the Champions League. I'm assuming you meant I don't mind if Dortmund don't win the Bundesliga. I'm not sure what you meant. For me, I'd rather win the Bundesliga than the Champions League. I know it sounds crazy, but I have such a vendetta right now against Bayern. I don't want them to win 10 in a row. For me, it's Bundesliga over Champions League. Let me know what you guys would rather in the chat. Just put Bundesliga or Champions League. Let me know what one would you rather win, because it's a good question. I know that there's going to be a split decision on it, but for me, it's Bundesliga. I can't see Terzic disagreeing with Rosa, and I think Rosa would take his input. Rosa seems like a real calm, genuine, and a chill genius, and Terzic has that fire personally. That is a good way to look at it, man, and you are right. I said the only reason I wanted to see Terzic move on is to take that next step. I thought taking over a club like Frankfurt would give him an opportunity to continue as the number one guy instead of taking a back seat, having someone come into the club you just had success with. It's an interesting debate, but I do take your option and your opinion there, Yusuf, and I do agree that it could blossom. And more than likely it will, because Terzic is that kind of guy, and he's proved it. A big talent for left wing, right wing is Jeremy Dacker. Yeah, the Belgian winger playing for Rennes right now. Yeah, he could be a good Sancho replacement. I don't think I've seen many links with him. He is pretty highly sought after, but I don't know. I do think it would be a good replacement, but I don't think it'll happen. Is the Elmes transfer likely to happen if Brandt and Renier leave the club? A loan plus option to buy could be likely. I haven't heard anything about linking Elmes from Napoli to Dortmund. I can't really see it either. It's not a position that we need a lot of strengthening. We have Dahoud, we have Bellingham, we have Chan, we have Delaney, and we have Witsel coming back from injury. So I don't think Elmes is someone we would need. I think that if Brandt and Renier leave and we do end up signing Malen, we need to, if we could, get a winger. What do you think about Renier? I hope that he leaves. I don't think that he'll be any use to us. He's had his issues on social media as well. I think it's time for him to move on and go find a club where he can actually start. Hello, my man. How you doing? City will get 15% of the Sancho fee. We will probably have 60 million to spend by my calculations. And that's another big point I was trying to make. Just because we are going to sell Sancho for whatever it may be, and say that is the case and we have 60, we won't spend 60. It's not the way this club functions. We will spend 30, which is why we're linked to the likes of Malen. Yusuf would rather win the Bundesliga. Gully Gill wants to say the Champions League all day, bro. Oscar Bundesliga. Simon Bundesliga. Champions League as long as Bayern doesn't win the Bundesliga. Fair. More than likely, if we don't win the Bundesliga, it will be Bayern. Bundesliga, Champions League is not realistic. I mean, the way the Champions League are going nowadays, I'd say it is a little realistic, but I don't know. I want that Bundesliga, man. Guys, like the video. Much love, my friend. If you guys haven't liked it yet, it means a lot if you could, and subscribe if you're new. It would make way more articles about BVB winning the Bundesliga. It would. Chris is here, says, hey Josh, how you doing, my man? Simon says Dortmund winning the Bundesliga just like Liverpool winning the league. They would take it before the Premier League, the Champions League any day. I agree. Looking like Sancho is really leaving, huh? Like I said, if you want my opinion, I say yes. But I mean, the storylines are going left, right, and center. It's gonna be an interesting one. BVB has more money than they usually do to operate. They are very well organized financially. Champions League is more prestigious and brings in more money, but I don't think it will happen. It's a good point, Angie. It's a good point. I was asking more on the personal side, but I do take your point there. Just for me over the last decade, and especially with that 18-19 season, I need us to win the Bundesliga. I do. It's no other way around it. I want to put an end to Bayern's dominant. I don't even think Bayern would mind if we did it that much, man. But I don't know. I want to see us put an end to it, and I would print out another. I'd print out another printout and have it right beside the pokal. Do you think that Sergio Gomez has a future at Dortmund? Not a chance. I think that he will head out. What happened with Renier on social media? It was just little things like he would people would chirp Dortmund for not starting him and kind of the season he had, and then he would like all those posts. Wasn't anything awful or anything along those lines, but it was annoying some of the fan base. Sancho staying would help with the Champions League and Bundesliga more realistically. It would, but I don't know. I just can't see it. What were the issues? Yeah, there weren't massive issues. It was just the fact that Renier fans were tweeting at Dortmund saying that why aren't you starting him, wasting his talent, wasting his potential, and then he liked him. So it's nothing serious, but it angered a lot of us. What do you think about the left back Swedish link? Yes, again, I believe I just heard about it before I came on here today. I didn't know enough about the player to give you guys my input. From what I know, he plays in the Dutch league. He's pretty highly rated. If he is a natural left back, for me that'd be a win. If you can shift Schultz and get him out of this club, and you get in a natural left back who's got a little more defensive presence than Guerrero, that's a goal. Schultz is a left wing back, man. He came in with the exact same attributes, just a lot less significant than Guerrero did. And we don't really have a real natural left back. And I think if this young kid is it, and he can come in certain situations where we need more defensive presence, that's a win-win. And it also shifts Schultz out of this club because we know he's going to be a bench player with nothing really to impact on the team. Prevent Bayern from winning 10 in a row, winning the Champions League, winning the Bundesliga in an ordinary case. I like that. That's a good one. That's a good way to look at it. Prediction for the upcoming France game. I really want Germany to win, but I'm betting for France. Yes, we'll be doing that watch along as well. So today, if you guys didn't see our community board schedule, but today we have the Sweden and Spain watch along. Tomorrow we will be doing the France-Germany one. I'm very excited for that one. And then after that, we're going to be doing the Canada game way later, but any of our Europeans will probably be sleeping. But yeah, for the France-Germany game, I mean, if you're going to put money on it, I'd put money on France, my man. But I'll be here cheering for Germany with hopefully a lot of you guys. But I don't know. There's always a chance. I mean, there's a lot of talent on that German squad. I don't have a lot of faith in Jurgen Löw. What happens with Mo Dahoud? I'm hoping a contract extension, but we'll have to see. Do you know how much revenue Dortmund invests on wages per year? Something close, at least. I have absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. Anyone knows that answer? You could put your input in, but I don't know it off the top of my head. I would love to see Meunier finally break through. I would too, man. And then the guy in the right back position, from what I see in interviews, he's a great character. He did have a really good interview. He did. I'm assuming it's the same one that I'm thinking of that you're talking to. Honestly, it's not unlikely to think that if he has a strong Euros, he gains his confidence back. He's got a new manager, new system, real fresh start. There's no reason to think that Meunier can't be at least better than he was last year. Doesn't take much for him to be better than he was last year. He was very, very poor last year. But, I mean, a lot of players have tough first seasons. This may give an opportunity for Meunier to break through that. God dang it. Why can't Dortmund hold on to Sancho for at least one more season, win the Bundesliga? Sancho and Haaland only got better on the pitch, and their chemistry would have dominated together. All I can say is that there was a gentleman's agreement between Sancho and the club about if the right deal came in and Sancho wanted to leave and go back to the Premier League, they would make a way to make it work. That could have happened last year. If United would have met the valuation Dortmund set, he would have been sold last summer. They didn't do it. They played hardball. Same thing will happen this year. If United don't meet that 90 million threshold or whatever exactly they want, he will not be coming. He will not be coming. So, I mean, there is a chance he could stay, but I think sooner than later United will meet it. Schultz in the mud. Just trying to speak honestly, and I think you guys hopefully would agree with me. I'm actually okay with Germany starting with France. Much better than starting with Hungary and losing. Other countries always respect Germany. I think it'll be a good test too. It'll be a good wake-up call. Get some of the jitters out going against the world champions. It will be interesting. No doubt. Junior Firpo would probably be the one out of the two I'd maybe go for, but again, it'd have to be the right type of deal to get a young kid in here and also shift Schultz out. I would like to see Rosa take some tips from Teresic's last few games. Yeah, I think that they, again, with their two characters, they'll find a good way to work together. Crazy how we wanted Dahoud to leave so bad, and then he's going to stay for another 5 years. I don't know if anyone ever clipped it, but it would have been embarrassing. At one point on this channel, I looked you guys square in the eye and said, Dahoud has no future at this club. He will be sold. And then he decided to turn up and be unreal, and with that, as long as he stays next year, Dahoud jersey is what I will be rocking next season. I think if Germany shows up ready to play, they definitely can beat France, but Germany has to be inconsistent since the 2016 Euros. Yeah, they have been very inconsistent, but I mean, Jurgen Love's obviously learned from some of his mistakes by bringing in Hummels, bringing back Muller. I think there's some leadership on that team. I mean, in the depth port of it, I mean, France is the better one. But I mean, if you put out those 11 players, I mean, France still probably has got the advantage, but it's a lot closer than you may kind of seem. Love the way that Delaney organized his teammates to prevent the cameras from filming Eriksen. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys are obviously familiar with that. I don't need to touch on it too much. It was one of the most scary things that I've ever witnessed. I was a little bit grateful I wasn't streaming at the time because I don't know what I would have done. I saw some other people who were streaming at the time, very nervous, very sad. It was a horrible, horrible scene. And it was crazy to hear the fact that he actually died. Like, he died on the pitch, and they were able to resuscitate him. And, I mean, there was so much to learn from that situation in kind of a life perspective. And in terms of privacy, the fact that the cameras were not nonstop going on, I mean, it was just, they probably didn't know what to do. I don't know. It was a whole bunch of questions, but Simon Kjær and Delaney were phenomenal. Kjær got him into the correct position, got his tongue out of his airways, consoled Eriksen's wife, developed the wall. I don't know. There's a lot of beautiful things to see during it, but it was one of the most horrible things I've ever seen. But thankfully Eriksen's okay, and hopefully we'll have a full recovery and we'll play in whatever capacity he may be able to, the game he obviously loves in the future. What do you think? Could Guerrero replace Sancho? Interesting question. I don't think so. I think Guerrero likes playing a little bit towards the back. I think if we played in a 3-4-3 system, you could see him go up the pitch a little bit more. The reason he has played in the 4-2-3-1 before under Fabra. He has played at that left attacking mid. I don't know. I have a feeling he'll be playing at left back next year. I don't have a problem with Meunier. I like him. But the thing is, as soon as he makes a mistake, the goal, and he just collapsed. Yeah, it's true. Mr. Maddox is gassed if Malen joins. Is Malen signing? There's the deal, from what I've been told and what I've been reading, is close. And it says it's not dependent on whether Sancho is sold or not, which I think speaks volumes to the rumors that we heard that there was a gentleman's agreement regardless. So I think that there's a good opportunity that this deal could happen within the next week. Instead of making up for the mistakes, he just makes another one, and the fans don't like him. Yeah, last season, you can't defend him. He had a very poor last season. But there's a chance that he could. There's a chance that he can bounce back. Unrelated, but thoughts on Schick's goal. Unreal goal. The fact that he took that on and he curled it away from Marshall. It's not even like it was a lob. It had curl. It looked like almost like a free kick. He took it pretty much first time. If it's not goal of the tournament, I can't wait to see what the goal of the tournament will be. Funny thing is when you said that Dahoud has no place here, and it was 2 weeks before he scored a banger, and he turned into Iniesta. I said I put my hands up high. I said like I was wrong. I didn't think he'd ever get that opportunity to actually start, actually play. He's been here for a while. It's not even like he just joined. He's been here since 2017, had no input whatsoever on the team, and they just gave him an opportunity, and he shined with it. And absolutely wild, man. After Royce, Hummels, Piszczek, who do you think is going to be the next image for Dortmund? Someone like a Kanji or Dahoud? No. If I had to take a bet, depending on how long Haaland stays, I mean, it immediately goes to Haaland. If you're looking for, I'm assuming, more of a long-term option, I mean, Guerrero, you could put, I think Guerrero's got a little bit more meaningful to the fans, and I think he'll stay longer. Dahoud's maybe got that potential. Another one could be Gio. Gio kind of seems to be under the impression that he may stay here for a while. But Akanji's not a bad look. Not a bad look either, but I think Guerrero, right now, if you're asking for one single one, it would be him. Firpo could be available for 10 million. He didn't show much at Barca, but it's just a normal price. Yeah, he's got a little defensive aspect to his game as well. It would be it'd be interesting. But I disagree with you. So we do not need two Guerreros. We need a natural left wing back attacking style of defender, which we have under Guerrero. But we need a more defensive attribute to be able to give us that options, and that's exactly what a normal defensive-ish left back could bring, something that Guerrero doesn't, and that's not what Schultz brings. You can't just say that Germany has been inconsistent with trying new players. COVID, there really hasn't been time to work together. Germany always has talent. I agree. I think our friend was referring to the fact that they've been poor since they've won the. Yeah, I mean they had a very poor Euros, and they had a very poor World Cup. They didn't make it to the group stage, and that's where Jurgen Klopp should have been probably sacked, and they should have moved on, and they didn't. I think that was the point he was trying to make. But there's always been talent there, but it's unacceptable to the last World Cup and the fact that he still had the job. You know, if you could choose one to stay, who would you choose? Sancho and Haaland. I would choose Haaland in a heartbeat. I don't think you can replace those kind of goals. I think there's no guarantee to replace those kind of goals. We brought in likes of Immobile before, and it even took a bombing a little bit to get on his feet. But those goals aren't guaranteed. I want a number 9 like Haaland. I think it's just going to keep getting better and better and better. Sancho, it sucks. It's not easy to replace it, but I do think there's a lot of creativity in that midfield, especially now you got to add a little bit of pace and versatility of Malen with Royce. You got Hazard there. Gio can come in. It's not a bad look, but you cannot replace what Haaland does up front, and especially with the budget we have. Not a big fan of the Haaland deal. He's a class player, but don't get me wrong. But the Renault is on his side. Yeah, but I mean we've had to deal with him before, and I mean it's not always ideal. It's not always smooth sailing, but you gotta get past that. And I think if Malen comes to this club, he will be very good. If Man City makes another low ball offer, BVB just needs to shut them down. I agree. I don't think he's gonna be going anywhere, but I mean, I might look like an idiot. I said Dahoud had no future at this club, so I'm not always 100% on my side, but I'd give it to Jude. He's young and signed a 5-year contract. Yeah, Jude stays here long term. You never know. Haaland is already our image to outside fans. I agree with that, 100%. Just it depends on how long he's going to stay. I'm assuming our friend meant who's going to stay for the long term. What is Dortmund doing? Why don't they sign Mbappe, Varane, De Bruyne? They don't have the money, my guy. That would never be the profile of player that they sign. Not a chance. I'm assuming you're joking, Chris. But yes, I think you know that we will never sign an Mbappe. We will never sign a Varane. We will never sign a De Bruyne. We will sign young talent, similar profile to Malen, and even Mbappe is another example. I'm not saying we're going to sign him, but he's another player who could fit our profile. I would love to see Royce win the Bundesliga next year, and then Germany wins the World Cup with Royce. Yeah, I was gutted when we won the World. I was pumped when we won the World Cup, but I was heartbroken that Royce wasn't a part of it. But I'm so happy Jude ended up working out. Glad that he will remain here for a while too. Yeah, he's a baller, man. I think he's gonna get better and better and better. And unfortunately, though, we'll probably head back to the Prem at some point. Imagine signing Kesse. I'm a big fan of him as well. He would be a good signing for us. Good CDM. Again, it's not a position that we need, which is the reason I don't think that we'll be targeting any central midfielders. But saying that, if Delaney or Witsel end up moving on, he would be an excellent candidate, no doubt. Dortmund should go for Sabitzer. Again, it'd be similar to Brandt. It's a position that we are going to spend money on that we don't need. We don't really need another center attacking mid. And everyone who just keeps saying like that 15 million price tag, again, some of the connections I've talked to said that that's not legitimate. He's valued around 40. Yes, there's only 1 year on his deal, but with the amount of clubs that would be interested in him, they would probably get between 20 and 30-ish for him, probably 20, 25 more likely, but still relatively cheap considering the player. I don't know how any striker can put up 45 goals, 15 assists, and is 20 fast, strong. He's a Viking. Well said, my man. Lowe should have left after the World Cup. 100%, I agree. I was insane that he didn't, but he will be leaving, and we'll be getting a very adequate replacement. Sabitzer would be very nice. Sabitzer, another option for us. We haven't been linked to Sabitzer. I don't think we will sign Sabitzer. He does not fit the type of position that we need. It's more of the midfield, which we just, again, guys, we just don't need it. And even that great deal that's rumored around isn't even 100% legitimate. I don't think that he would go for that cheap. I think he would go for probably about 25, even though because clubs will be eyeing him up and we'll try to outbid each other and we'll probably get it up, not crazy towards his 40 evaluation, but probably around the 25 mark. Yeah, we would never unless a 100 billionaire takes over this club, which will never happen. Bruh, Jude just told incredibly BVB a stepping stone when he joined. Jude just told indirectly BVB is a stepping stone. I do remember Bellingham saying, it was indirect. I'm assuming you were referring to the fact when he said, I've seen some of the success that players had at Dortmund. It's a good step for me. If that's what you're referring to, I mean, it's not a secret. And I wouldn't take it as an insult that Jude said that. A lot of young players come to Dortmund. They thrive. They move on. It is what it is. But I'm hoping Jude will be here for at least a few years because I think it'd be good for his development as well. Mbappe would like to go to Spain or England, not Dortmund. Yeah, we can't afford to sign Mbappe. We can't afford to sign Mbappe's arm, to be honest. I'd rather prefer the club to be the way that they are than billionaire owners. I agree. Keeps it fun. Still a competitive, awesome club to follow. But we'll have to see. I'm surprised about how Dortmund have bought youngsters with great mentalities like Sancho, Haaland, Jude, and comparing with Dembele. I really liked watching Dembele in his first season. I thought he was such a good player, man. Phenomenal to watch. So cool, but unfortunately ruined any type of reputation he had in Dortmund trying to fight his way out. So good riddance, and he hasn't done much of anything since leaving. Josh, I did watch a few games where Sabitzer played as right wing and Cuckoo played as cam. Sabitzer was pretty solid. You never know. He might hit those random bangers. Well, Sabitzer is the furthest thing from a winger in my position. I haven't personally seen him play on the wing. He usually, in a 3-4-1-2 formation that they usually play, he likes to play as one of the midfielders. In a 4-2-3-1, I've seen him line up as a 6 before. I've seen him play in the 10. I've never seen Sabitzer play as a right wing. I think that he's more of that 8 to 10 type player, and which, like I said, it's not one that we need, which is why I don't think he's played on the wing. He's not going to be a winger, and it's just not worth bringing in. Billionaire owners don't want the 50-plus run rule. No, they do not. Yeah, he said it's a great part of my development. He's not wrong. We're going to make the treble next season. So good luck. We're hoping, but we'll have to wait and see. My guy, just Mbappe's wage can't afford the 200 million price tag. Yeah. Dortmund are underdogs, and when we win, it is cool. I mean, majority of the Bundesliga games, I'd say we're favorites, but I take your point. We're probably the underdogs to win a Bundesliga or win the Champions League, something along those lines, but I understand. I understand where you're coming from. I really miss Schick's goal because of school. It was an absolute banger. And by the way, this is FU Cancer. Again, guys, just in case you're seeing, like, you know, that's what it actually said. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. I didn't want to tell you guys off. But yeah, no, it was a beautiful goal today. Probably won't score a better one in his life, but as a fellow Dortmunder, will you ever forgive Lewandowski, Aubameyang, and Dembele for the way that they left the club? Going to Bayern on a free, I'd been fine if you went to Madrid. I just had a conversation with this, to be honest. Dembele, no. I'll never forgive him because he acted like a 6-year-old to get his way out of the club, and he's done jack crap since he left. Aubameyang really hurt because I absolutely loved Aubameyang. I loved everything he brought to this club. He was such a serial goal scorer. Again, fought his way out, had some harsh words on the way out. I have good memories of Aubameyang. Lewandowski broke my heart again. Very young, fell in love with watching Götze, Lewandowski, and Royce. Götze hurt me more. Götze hurt me 10 times more than Lewandowski does, just because it was up. I mean, Götze was just. There's so many things wrong with it. The way it was announced, the timing of it, the purpose, the fact that he's from Dortmund. It was just quite pathetic, in my opinion, from him. And it didn't work out. Lewandowski was a little more upfront. They knew that he was going to go. I don't know how Dortmund let it happen, but I don't blame Lewandowski as much, but I just hate the fact that he went to Bayern and has been ripping us up for the better part of a decade. So yeah, I mean, all of them suck. Götze would probably hit me the hardest, because Götze was my first favorite player at Dortmund, and yeah, man, I don't know. BBB should get Ahmed Dalio from Man United in return. I don't know. Not a player that I would go for, but I mean, he's a good young talent. I respect the shirt. I'm glad. Is Bayern gonna have 5 stars? I don't know that answer. I don't think so, but I don't 100% know. Aubameyang isn't even playing in the Europa League. He went to Arsenal, for God's sakes. Like, Lewandowski was completely our mistake. Yep. And that's why I don't hold as much against him. I think the fact that Götze hurt me 10 times more, but Lewandowski, I mean, Götze was arguably poor, had a poor spell at Bayern, and then he came back. Lewandowski has not had a poor spell at Bayern. He's been unbelievable for Bayern and has just bit us in the butt every time we've played him. Hurts even more. The OG trio of Royce, Lewandowski, and, oh man, elbow cuff. Yeah, Blaszczykowski in there as well. Beautiful. What do you think of Kobel? Wasn't my first choice, but it's the keeper we went with, and I'm hoping that from the good things I've heard about him, we'll be good to go. Dortmund should avoid dealing with United forever. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I hate Lewandowski more the fact that he scores a lot against us and celebrates with a straight face. Yeah, he's got no love lost. He was very, very happy that he left and went to Bayern, and I mean, he's had very successful stint there. But yeah, I mean, Götze hurt me the most. Lewandowski just frustrates me, and it's the reason I don't like Lewandowski that much anymore. Like, yeah, I mean, how could you? He left for free, and we have some to blame for it, but he left for free to our rivals and has ripped us apart since. Hummels and Götze hurt me the most, but I ended up forgiving them. I only hated the way that Dembele went out. I have a little bit forgive Götze. I think he's honestly thought he could have had a totally different career if he didn't make that choice. Hummels is from Bayern, so I didn't hold that much against him too much. I understood it sucked, especially after already seeing Lewandowski and Götze going there and then giving them the best center back in the Bundesliga at the time. It was crappy, but the fact that he's from Bayern made that one a little bit easier on me. Dembele and Aubameyang both went out very poor, in my opinion. I thought that goal was fake. It looked like a FIFA goal. Why did our management not want to give Lewandowski his salary demands? Very big mistake. I'm not 100% sure if that was the number one thing around it. I mean, Bayern blew our bid out of the water. They paid him whatever he wanted. But I think Lewandowski was under the impression that Bayern was going to be the next dominant force. That's just my opinion. And he saw the money that Bayern was paying them, which was more than what Dortmund was, and he jumped at it. He left for free because we didn't extend his contract and he signed only one contract with us. Yeah, he left for free. We did try to re-sign him. We were desperately trying to re-sign him, but just wasn't able to work out, and Bayern took advantage of that. Do you think we sold Kagawa too soon? He ended up flopping at United. I mean, yes, we sold him too soon because, I mean, a lot of the talented players that we've had has flopped elsewhere. It sucks, but yeah, it was a shame, and him and Götze both pretty much ruined their careers since they left. You think we will go big this window? No. Well, it depends how you see going big. I see 3 transfers. Kobel, probably St. Just, Malen. There's your 3. So if you want to take that as big or not, that's what I think that we'll be doing. There's a rumor Lazio wants Brandt. What do you think? I'm kind of scared. I did address that a little bit earlier in the stream. It looks relatively legit. I'd be more than happy to see Brandt leave. I don't think he's got a future here. I think that it's time to cash in and focus on developing Gio as that backup cam and get the most out of Royce while we still have him. United ruins careers. Mkhitaryan was an absolute baller, man. Yeah, huge shame. When Hummels left, I wasn't really heartbroken. If anything, I was happy and surprised we kept him for as long as we did. I was bummed, but again, he went to Bayern. It was his home. I'm not that mad about it. How did Bayern have more money than us? We won the league twice before Götze left. I don't know, man. They just have more money than we do. We do business a little bit differently. Bayern's got an excellent business model. I mean, they don't spend, again, that much money on players. I mean, the record transfer signing is Lucas Hernandez, which was 80 million. That was by far higher than their next highest one. It is a debate, but I mean, both clubs do business very relatively well. But Bayern is known for paying much higher wages, and that's how they got Lewandowski. And they've been pretty good with being able to pay players what they want. Götze got his karma back. We did release him for free. Yeah. Kagawa wanted to leave us. It was his dream to play for United. Yep. And it's a lot of players. I mean, it's big clubs around the world. It's hard to stop them. When the Madrids, the Barças, the Uniteds, Chelsea, the Liverpools, when they come knocking, a lot of players get their heads turned, and we get paid a lot of money in the meantime to making it go. I have a feeling that Nagelsmann lack of silverware may make Bayern bottle, and we hope to take advantage of it. I absolutely agree with you, man. Absolutely agree. I think that it's going to be a big opportunity for us. All right, guys, we're going to go for the last question of the day from Julian. I know it's between Malen and Diaby, but I do so much to have us sign both. Yeah, they're different types of players. Obviously, one's more a traditional winger. I have a feeling from what I've read, Malen is the guy, and especially the fact that Leverkusen probably isn't so keen to sell his players anymore. Maybe we do a type of swap. Maybe we send Brandt to Leverkusen for Diaby or Bailey. That's something we can look out for, man. But that is it, my guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It was a lot of fun. We'll be doing this pretty much every day. We're going to try to. We're going to be back for the Spain watch along a little bit later, so hopefully see a lot of you guys there. Be sure to drop a like on your way out, and thanks for hanging out with us. A lot of fun. Talk to you guys soon, and see you for the next watch along.